Beloved, I am not speaking this to startle your spirit, but to steady it, because a meeting is closer than you think. I am not sending these words to awaken fear within you, nor to make you search every face, every message, every open door, every passing conversation with anxiety. I am speaking because your inner atmosphere has already begun to shift, and what you have sensed in silence is not imagination. It is preparation. It is alignment. It is the quiet movement of heavenly timing beginning to take form before your natural eyes can explain what is happening. My child, understand this deeply. Sudden does not mean random. Unannounced does not mean unprepared. There are appointments I arrange long before they appear on your calendar. There are conversations I begin forming before either person knows they will stand in the same space. There are opportunities I set in motion while you are still asking why certain doors closed, why certain people faded, why certain emotions returned, and why your heart has been unusually sensitive in this hour. What is moving toward you may be a person, a conversation, an open door, a moment of reconciliation, a moment of closure, or a divine connection that carries more weight than its outer appearance will reveal at first. Do not let your mind run ahead of my peace. This is not danger approaching. This is not a trap forming in the dark. This is not the return of everything you feared. I am not leading you by terror. I am leading you by stillness. As it is written, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. My voice does not drive you into panic. My voice gathers you into discernment. My warning is not the sound of doom over your life. It is the sound of my hand placing your heart in order before the door opens. You have already noticed the signs, though you have not known what to call them. There has been an unusual stillness settling over you in moments when you expected to feel anxious. There have been repeated thoughts about someone you were not trying to remember. There have been dreams that lingered after waking, not always clear in detail but heavy with meaning. There has been restlessness in your spirit, not the kind that destroys peace, but the kind that tells you movement is near. Unexpected memories have risen, not to pull you backward, but to show you what has been healed, what still needs surrender, and what can no longer govern your response. Beloved, when I begin preparing you for a meeting, I often begin with your memory before I begin with your schedule. I touch what once wounded you so that when the moment comes, you will not answer from the wound. I bring certain thoughts to the surface so you can separate longing from wisdom, fear from discernment, and old attachment from divine alignment. This is not confusion. It is sorting. This is not emotional instability. It is my spirit teaching you to recognize the difference between what echoes from the past and what carries the sound of my purpose. The question before you is not only who is coming. The deeper question is whether your heart will be ready to recognize what I have arranged. Will you recognize peace when it comes quietly? Will you recognize closure when it does not arrive with apology the way you imagined? Will you recognize opportunity when it appears in ordinary clothing? Will you recognize a counterfeit when it speaks familiar words but carries the same old pressure? I am preparing you because the meeting itself will reveal something, but your posture will determine how clearly you can see. So be still within this truth. Do not rehearse fear. Do not manufacture outcomes. Do not force a name onto the mystery before I reveal the assignment. Let me steady you now, before the person appears, before the message comes, before the opportunity opens, before the conversation begins. If this message is meeting you in a season of waiting, receive it with humility. Like the video as a sign of agreement with the preparation I am doing in you. Subscribe so you can continue receiving guidance as I train your discernment, and write these words from a surrendered heart. Lord, prepare my heart for the meeting you have arranged. For I am already working beneath the surface. I am already quieting what would have reacted too quickly. I am already healing what would have misread the moment. I am already teaching you to stand in peace when what you prayed about suddenly stands before you. This meeting is closer than you think, but so is my presence. And before the appointment appears outwardly, I have already been preparing you inwardly. My child, before I bring a person into your presence, I first prepare the atmosphere within you. Before I allow the conversation to come near, I deal with the storm that once lived beneath your words. Before I permit the door to open, I teach your spirit how to stand without trembling, how to listen without grasping, how to discern without projecting old pain onto a new moment. What is coming must not be recognized through panic. It must be recognized through peace. For peace is one of the ways I confirm what belongs to me. Beloved, divine meetings are rarely born in chaos. They may appear suddenly, but they are not formed suddenly. They are preceded by quiet training, by softened reactions, by motives that have been purified in hidden places, by expectations that have been corrected when no one else could see the correction taking place. I have been training you in the days when nothing seemed to move. I have been teaching you in the silence between prayers. I have been removing the sharpness from your responses, the urgency from your decisions, the hidden fear from your waiting, and the need to control from your understanding of timing. This is not delay. It is divine preparation. This is not silence. It is alignment. This is not emptiness. It is space being cleared. When you thought nothing was happening, I was clearing the room of your soul so that when the appointed person, opportunity, answer, or conversation arrives, you will not fill the moment with old noise. I was teaching you not to answer from desperation. I was teaching you not to agree from loneliness. I was teaching you not to reject from pride. I was teaching you not to speak from revenge. I was teaching you not to run because of fear of missing out on what I have already secured by my hand. Understand this deeply. If you enter a divine meeting carrying old urgency, you may call pressure purpose. If you enter it from loneliness, you may call attention love. If you enter it from pride, you may resist the very answer I am sending because it does not bow to the image you built in pain. If you enter it from fear, you may cling to what I only meant you to release, or you may release what I am asking you to steward. That is why I have slowed you. That is why I have quieted you. That is why certain impulses no longer feel comfortable in your spirit. I am not taking your strength from you. I am removing the false strength that came from survival. My child, some of the restraint you have felt has been my mercy. You wanted to send the message, but something held your hand. You wanted to chase the explanation, but something settled over your spirit and said, wait. You wanted to prove that you were right, that you had changed, that they were wrong, that the past mattered, that the pain deserved a response. But I placed a holy pause within you, not because your voice does not matter, not because your heart is unseen, but because I am teaching you that every open door does not require an immediate entrance, and every returning voice does not deserve access to your peace. As it is written, be still, and know that I am God. Be still does not mean become passive. Be still does not mean ignore what is before you. Be still means make room within yourself for my knowing to rise above your fear. It means let the inner atmosphere become spacious enough for my voice to be recognized. It means do not let panic speak first. Do not let memory lead first. Do not let the old wound interpret the new appointment before my spirit has testified within you. For if you are still chasing what wounds you, you may misread what I send. If you are still addicted to emotional intensity, you may overlook peace because it does not feel dramatic enough. If you are still measuring love by how much anxiety it awakens, you may confuse instability with destiny. But if you allow me to steady the rhythm of your soul, if you let me teach you the difference between a familiar pull and a holy witness, then you will recognize the rhythm of heaven when it comes near. I have been training your spirit before they arrive. I have been teaching you how to carry your healed identity into the room. I have been preparing you to meet what is coming without shrinking, without performing, without rushing, without assuming, without surrendering your discernment to emotion. What I bring will not require you to abandon peace in order to receive it. What I send will not demand that you become the old version of yourself to keep it. So remain still within me. Let your heart become quiet enough to know. Let your spirit become clear enough to recognize. Before I permit the meeting, I prepare the heart, because what is appointed by me must be received in peace, not panic. Beloved, the meeting that is coming may not announce itself with thunder. It may not arrive with a sign so obvious that your natural mind has no questions left to ask. It may come through a simple message, a chance encounter, an unexpected invitation, a reopened conversation, or a door that suddenly becomes easy to enter after being difficult for so long. It may look like an ordinary moment in an ordinary place, yet within you there will be a stillness that does not feel ordinary. There will be a wait, a pause, a quiet knowing, as though the atmosphere around the moment has changed even though nothing outwardly appears dramatic. My child, do not despise the smallness of the sign because your pain expected something louder. Pain often asks for spectacle because pain wants proof that it was not forgotten. Wounds often demand dramatic evidence because they are afraid of being overlooked again. But I do not always heal you through the loud thing. I do not always confirm my will through the dramatic thing. Many times I move through a gentle opening, a softened conversation, a repeated confirmation, a peaceful opportunity, a sentence spoken at the right time, a door that no longer resists your hand. This is not weakness. It is the rhythm of heaven. This is not lack of confirmation. It is confirmation arriving in a form your spirit must be quiet enough to recognize. You have been taught by the world to look for intensity, but I am teaching you to recognize weight. Intensity can rise quickly and disappear quickly. Excitement can stir your emotions and still leave your spirit unsettled. A familiar face can awaken old longing and still not carry my instruction. A sudden opportunity can flatter your desire and still lack my peace. But divine resonance remains steady. It does not have to shout to remain present. It does not have to pressure you to prove it is real. It carries a calm authority within it, and even when the moment is simple, your inner witness will know that something meaningful is standing before you. As it is written, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." Hear this deeply. My voice may be quiet, but it is never confused with manipulation. My voice may be gentle, but it is never the sound of fear controlling you. My voice may come through stillness, but it will not produce torment in your soul. When I speak, I may convict, I may warn, I may slow you, I may require patience, but I will not drag you into panic and call it guidance. I will not use confusion as a covering for my will. I will not make you violate the peace I have been building in you in order to receive what I am sending to you. There is a difference between a moment that excites your emotions and a moment that bears witness with your spirit. Excitement often asks, "What can I get from this? What does this mean for me? How quickly can this become what I imagined?" But the inward witness asks different questions. Is there peace here? Is there alignment here? Is there fruit here? Is there humility here? Is there room for my voice here? Does this open your spirit or pull you back into striving? Does this invite you into clarity or push you into performance? Does this strengthen your obedience or tempt you to abandon your discernment for the sake of being chosen? Beloved, the meeting may not look loud, but it will carry weight. You may be walking through a normal day when something shifts. You may read a message and feel a holy pause before you answer. You may hear a name and sense gentle unrest, not fear, but the awareness that I am asking you to pay attention. You may receive an invitation and feel no frantic excitement, only a deep inward stillness that says, "Move slowly, listen carefully, do not assume, but do not ignore this." You may stand before a person and realize that your old reactions are not rising the way they once did, because I have healed the place that used to answer before wisdom could speak. This is how I train discernment, not by making every sign spectacular, but by teaching your spirit to recognize my atmosphere, not by removing every question, but by placing peace beneath the questions, not by forcing you to understand the whole assignment at once, but by giving you enough inward witness to take the next step without fear. Repeated confirmation will come where confirmation is needed. Stillness will remain where my hand is present. And if something is counterfeit, I will not leave you without witness. I will disturb what needs to be disturbed. I will expose what needs to be exposed. I will let the fruit speak louder than the words. So do not rush to name the meeting before I reveal its purpose. Do not turn a small sign into an idol, and do not dismiss it because it does not look impressive. Hold it before me. Let the rhythm within you become quiet. Let the atmosphere of your soul settle. Let your discernment listen beneath the surface. For some appointments come wrapped in simplicity, and some answers enter through doors you would have passed by if you were only looking for noise. When it comes, you will not need fear to recognize it. You will not need pressure to obey me. You will not need emotional chaos to prove that something is important. The meeting may appear ordinary on the surface, but the inner witness will reveal whether it carries divine weight. I am teaching you to hear me there, in the quiet, in the stillness, in the gentle unrest, in the repeated confirmation, in the peace that remains when excitement fades. My sheep hear my voice, and my voice will lead you in truth. Beloved, remember Ruth, because Ruth did not know the field was a doorway. She did not wake up that morning with a full understanding of the restoration I had prepared. She did not see the end from the beginning. She did not know that the place of labor would become the place of covering, that the place of survival would become the place of favor, that the field she entered with empty hands would become connected to provision, protection, and destiny. She simply moved in obedience. She simply did what was before her. She simply followed the path of humility, honor, and faithfulness. And while she was gathering what looked like fragments, I was arranging what would become fullness. My child, Ruth, stepped into that field carrying grief. She had buried what she loved. She had left what was familiar. She had walked away from the land she once knew, and she had entered a future that did not yet explain itself. But she did not allow grief to make her bitter. She did not allow uncertainty to make her dishonorable. She did not allow loss to turn her heart against obedience. She stayed close to Naomi. She honored what was before her. She chose faithfulness in a season where no one would have blamed her for becoming hard, withdrawn, or resentful. And because she remained faithful in the hidden place, she was positioned in the appointed place. Understand this deeply. Ruth was not chasing Boaz. Ruth was not manipulating a meeting. Ruth was not performing for attention. Ruth was not trying to force a door to open by abandoning the work I had placed in her hands. She was gleaning. She was serving. She was doing the humble thing. She was gathering what remained after others had passed through the field. To the natural eye, it looked like necessity. To heaven, it was positioning. To others, it may have looked like survival. To me, it was preparation. This is how I often move. I hide divine appointments inside daily responsibility. I place destiny beneath obedience. I allow a person to meet provision while they are simply doing what is right. Do not despise the field you are standing in now. Do not look at the ordinary task and assume I am absent. Do not look at the small act of faithfulness and believe it has no connection to what I promised. Some of the most sacred meetings do not happen while you are chasing an outcome. They happen while you are healing quietly. They happen while you are working with clean hands. They happen while you are serving without applause, forgiving without an audience, rebuilding without certainty, and refusing to return to the patterns I delivered you from. The field may look simple, but I know who I have placed there. I know what connection is tied to that place. I know what answer has been waiting beyond your obedience. As it is written in Ruth 2, she went and gleaned in the field after the reapers, and she happened to come to the part of the field belonging to Boaz. But what looked like happenstance to human eyes was not random before me. There are moments that seem accidental only because you cannot see my hand arranging them. There are places you enter because of necessity, yet I have already filled them with favor. There are conversations that begin naturally, yet they carry a spiritual weight that will only be understood later. Ruth did not know the field was connected to Boaz, and Boaz was connected to the line of redemption. She was walking into more than food for the day. She was walking into a prepared connection. Beloved, when I speak of Boaz, do not reduce the pattern only to romance. Boaz was honorable provision. Boaz was protection without control. Boaz was strength without manipulation. Boaz was recognition without exploitation. He did not pull Ruth out of peace. He covered without possessing. He noticed her character before he touched her future. He asked about her story, honored her sacrifice, protected her vulnerability, and created room for her to receive without shame. This is the kind of fruit I want you to discern. Not just the face, not just the timing, not just the emotion. Look for honor, look for protection, look for peace, look for alignment. Look for the kind of presence that does not require you to shrink in order to be received. The meeting coming toward you may involve relationship, but it may also involve opportunity, mentorship, restoration, closure, assignment, or an open door connected to destiny. Do not make the field smaller than I made it. Do not force the pattern into one desire when I may be sending an answer in another form. Sometimes Boaz is a person who carries wisdom. Sometimes Boaz is a door that carries provision. Sometimes Boaz is a conversation that restores confidence. Sometimes Boaz is a connection that protects your next step. Sometimes Boaz is not the final destination, but the appointed witness that confirms you are no longer standing in the old land of loss. My child, I see you being faithful in the field. I see you doing what is right when no one celebrates it. I see you healing quietly while others assume you are only waiting. I see you choosing honor when bitterness tries to speak. I see you refusing to go back to old patterns, old attachments, old emotional contracts, old ways of proving your worth. This is not wasted obedience. This is not invisible faithfulness. This is not a forgotten season. I am arranging more than you can see. I am placing connections in fields you have not yet understood. I am preparing you to recognize what carries my hand and to reject what only carries familiar noise. So walk into the field with peace. Do the humble thing with dignity. Serve where I have placed you without surrendering your identity to the season. Let grief pass through your hands without hardening your heart. Let uncertainty teach you dependence without stealing your honor. Ruth did not know the field was a doorway, but I knew. Ruth did not know Boaz was near, but I had already placed him within the story. And you, too, may be walking into a prepared field without realizing that I have already placed the appointed connection there. Keep your heart soft, keep your spirit discerning, keep your steps obedient. What looks ordinary may be carrying the doorway I prepared. Beloved, now let your heart receive holy caution without fear. The fact that someone comes without warning does not automatically mean they are heaven sent. The fact that a name returns to your phone, a face returns to your path, a conversation returns to your table, or an opportunity returns with new language does not mean I have assigned you to open your life without discernment. I can use a return, but not every return carries my restoration. I can allow a meeting, but not every meeting is a mandate. I can permit a voice from the past to stand before you, not always because I am sending you back, but because I am revealing how far I have brought you forward. Beloved, do not call every return restoration, and do not call every apology repentance. Engrave this deeply within your soul. Words can sound softened, while the heart remains unchanged. Tears can fall without surrender. Regret can speak without transformation. Familiar emotion can move through a room and still not carry my peace. There is a difference between someone missing access to you and someone honoring the work I have done in you. There is a difference between someone wanting relief from guilt and someone bearing the fruit of humility. There is a difference between a door reopening because I have breathed upon it and a door rattling because an old pattern wants permission to return. My child, test the spirits. As it is written in 1 John 4:1, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God. This does not only apply to voices that sound spiritual, it applies to relationships. It applies to conversations. It applies to sudden invitations. It applies to opportunities that arrive with urgency. It applies to apologies, reconnections, offers, promises, and emotional moments that seem to come from nowhere. Test the spirit beneath the words. Test the fruit beneath the feeling. Test the atmosphere beneath the invitation. Test whether peace remains when the excitement fades. Test whether truth is present when charm is removed. Test whether humility remains when boundaries are spoken. Do not discern by familiarity alone. Familiar does not always mean safe. Familiar does not always mean assigned. Familiar does not always mean healed. There are patterns your nervous system remembers before your spirit agrees with them. There are voices that know how to awaken nostalgia, guilt, chemistry, loneliness, and fear of losing the chance. There are situations that know how to make you feel as though you must decide quickly, answer quickly, forgive quickly, return quickly, agree quickly, before you have had time to stand still before me. But I do not lead you by frantic pressure. I do not ask you to surrender wisdom in order to prove love. I do not require you to abandon the peace I built in order to keep a connection I did not send. If what returns brings pressure instead of respect, pause. If what returns demands access but resists accountability, pause. If what returns flatters your pain but dishonors your boundaries, pause. If what returns says all the right words but repeats the same fruit, pause. If what returns makes you shrink, perform, explain yourself endlessly, or feel responsible for another person's obedience, pause. Respect, protection, and freedom from control are not optional signs. They are pillars I have placed before you. Love from me does not possess you. Opportunity from me does not manipulate you. Restoration from me does not require you to silence truth. A divine meeting may confront you, but it will not erase your dignity. It may stretch you, but it will not return you to bondage. My child, old patterns often try to re-enter through the door of familiar emotion. Nostalgia may remind you of what once felt beautiful, while hiding what once broke your peace. Guilt may tell you that having boundaries means you are hard, when I am the one who taught you to guard your heart. Chemistry may awaken the body, while the spirit feels unrest. Loneliness may make a counterfeit feel like provision, because emptiness is begging to be filled. Fear may whisper that if you do not take this chance now, you will lose what I have for you. But what I have truly ordained does not depend on panic to survive. What I have truly prepared will not require you to betray discernment in order to receive it. Understand this deeply. I may allow a meeting not to restore the relationship, but to reveal whether you have truly healed from it. I may allow a conversation not because you are meant to reopen the door, but because you are ready to close it without hatred. I may allow a return not because you must go backward, but because you need to see that the old pull no longer has authority over you. I may allow you to hear an apology so you can forgive without reattaching. I may allow you to stand before a familiar face so you can discover that you are no longer the version of yourself who begged, chased, collapsed, or traded peace for affection. This is not cruelty, it is clarity. This is not temptation without help, it is discernment with my spirit beside you. I am not exposing you to what once wounded you so that you will be destroyed again. I am revealing what is in you now. I am showing you that healing has given you a new posture, a new language, a new stillness, a new authority over emotional cycles that once commanded your decisions. Where you once would have answered immediately, now you can wait. Where you once would have explained yourself until you were exhausted, now you can speak truth simply. Where you once would have confused intensity with destiny, now you can ask for fruit, consistency, humility, peace, and alignment. Beloved, fruit speaks, consistency speaks, humility speaks, truth speaks, peace speaks. Do not silence these witnesses because the moment feels powerful. Do not ignore the absence of fruit because the words sound sincere. Do not allow one emotional conversation to outweigh a pattern of dishonor. When repentance is real, it does not resent the time needed to rebuild trust. When restoration is from me, it honors wisdom. When a connection carries my hand, it does not punish you for having discernment. It does not accuse you for needing peace. It does not control you in the name of love. It does not rush you in the name of destiny. So, when someone returns, breathe before you respond. When the invitation comes, hold it before me. When the apology is spoken, listen for more than emotion. When the opportunity opens, examine the atmosphere. Ask with a steady heart, is there respect here? Is there protection here? Is there freedom from control? Is there truth? Is there humility? Is there consistency? Is there peace that remains after the first wave of feeling passes? For I am not asking you to become suspicious of everyone. I am teaching you to become surrendered and discerning with everything. The meeting must be discerned by fruit and peace, not by familiarity, pressure, or emotional intensity. What is sent by me can withstand prayer. What is sent by me can withstand patience. What is sent by me can withstand truth. And what is counterfeit will often reveal itself when it is no longer allowed to control the pace, the atmosphere, or the condition of your heart. Stand still, my child. Test the spirits. Keep your heart soft, but keep your discernment awake. I will show you what carries my breath, and I will show you what only carries the sound of what used to hold you. Beloved, after the warning, let hope rise again in its proper place. I did not teach you discernment so your heart would become closed. I did not warn you about counterfeit returns, so you would become afraid of every knock, every message, every meeting, every name that appears suddenly before you. This is not suspicion. It is sanctified readiness. This is not fear. It is peace with eyes open. For there are meetings I truly arrange, doors I truly open, people I truly send, and conversations I truly breathe upon as answers to prayers you thought had fallen silent before my throne. My child, I have not forgotten what you prayed when no one heard you. I have not forgotten the whispered requests you released through tears, the questions you carried in the hidden place, the longing you placed before me and then tried to surrender because the waiting became heavy. Some answers do not arrive immediately because I am preparing more than the answer. I am preparing the vessel. I am preparing the timing. I am preparing the other side of the appointment. I am preparing the atmosphere, so that when the meeting comes, it does not simply satisfy emotion, but aligns destiny. The one who is coming may be carrying something you asked me for long ago. It may come as a reconciled conversation that brings truth where confusion once lived. It may come as an honorable relationship that does not pull you into fear, but teaches your heart what respect, protection, and freedom feel like. It may come as a business opportunity, a ministry door, a helper, a messenger, a voice of confirmation, or a person who speaks one sentence that steadies the direction I have already been placing within you. Do not make the answer smaller than my wisdom. Do not assume it must arrive in the form your emotions designed. I know how to answer prayer in ways that heal more than the surface request. Hear me clearly. I know who must enter your path, when they must appear, and what part of your destiny they are assigned to awaken. I know the conversation that must happen. I know the door that must open. I know the person whose obedience is connected to your next step, and I know the part of your obedience that is connected to theirs. Heaven does not need a long announcement to change a life. One obedient conversation can shift a season. One divinely timed meeting can confirm years of hidden preparation. One person sent by me can become a marker between what was and what is now beginning. Remember Mary and Elizabeth. Mary carried a promise that was holy, weighty, and beyond human explanation, and Elizabeth carried confirmation before the world could understand what I had spoken. Their meeting was not random. It was resonance. It was witness. It was heaven allowing one prepared vessel to strengthen another prepared vessel. Remember Philip, sent by my spirit to the Ethiopian, not by accident, not by human strategy, but by divine appointment. One road, one chariot, one conversation. An understanding was opened. Remember Esther, positioned before a king, not for vanity, not for comfort, but for a purpose larger than herself. Placement became assignment. Access became responsibility. Timing became deliverance. So when the meeting arrives without warning, do not call it disorder. Without warning does not mean without order. Without warning does not mean without preparation. It means heaven has been working beyond what your eyes could see. It means I have been moving in rooms you did not enter, touching hearts you could not reach, aligning circumstances you could not manage, and preparing both sides privately for a public moment of alignment. Beloved, remain soft enough to receive what I send, and sober enough to test what appears. Hope and discernment are not enemies. Peace and wisdom walk together. If I have arranged the meeting, it will not require you to abandon me in order to receive it. It will not drag you out of your healed identity. It will bear witness with the work I have already done within you. Stand steady, my child. The answer may come suddenly, but it has not been formed suddenly. I have been preparing it in silence, and I will teach you to recognize it in peace. Beloved, understand why I closed certain doors before this meeting could come. Those closures were not random disappointments scattered across your life without meaning. They were not careless interruptions. They were not proof that I had forgotten what I promised you. Many of the doors that shut behind you were mercy moving ahead of you. Many of the connections that faded, resisted, broke, or revealed themselves were part of my protection over the place I am now bringing you into. I was not only closing what hurt you, I was freeing your heart from what would have divided you when the appointed moment arrived. This was not rejection. It was redirection. This was not abandonment. It was protection. This was not loss. It was pruning. I know the doors you wanted to remain open. I know the people you prayed would change. I know the opportunities that looked promising but carried hidden strain. I know the attachments that felt difficult to release because a part of you had connected them to identity, hope, safety, or the fear of starting again. But, my child, not every open door leads to life. Not every familiar place is assigned to your future. Not every person who once held access to your heart has the capacity to walk with the version of you I have been restoring. I removed misaligned people before they could speak confusion over your next step. I interrupted false opportunities before they could consume your strength and call it success. I exposed draining cycles before they could become the atmosphere you carried into the new door. I loosened confusing attachments before they could make you stand in front of what I am sending while still reaching backward for what I already delivered you from. For what is coming requires a heart that is present. It requires a spirit that is not divided between yesterday's wound and today's instruction. It requires a soul that can recognize peace without comparing it to chaos. Do not call pruning punishment. As it is written, every branch that bears fruit is pruned so that it may bear more fruit. Pruning does not mean the branch is hated. Pruning means the branch is chosen for increase. When I removed what was draining you, I was not diminishing your life. I was making room for fruit that could remain. When I closed what kept you anxious, I was not taking love from you. I was teaching you the difference between attachment and alignment. When I silenced voices that kept pulling you back into striving, I was not leaving you alone. I was creating enough stillness for you to hear my voice again. Closure can be mercy, my child. Closure can be my hand, preventing contamination. The wrong door had to close so the right conversation would not be entered through old fear. The old cycle had to end so you would not meet a new opportunity with the expectation of being used. The draining connection had to lose its hold so you would not stand before an honorable person and treat honor as suspicion because dishonor trained you to expect pain. The false opening had to collapse so you would not mistake pressure for purpose. This is not failure, it is cleansing. This is not delay, it is preparation. This is not emptiness. It is space being made for what can carry my peace. I have been teaching you not to beg to be chosen. I have been teaching you not to shrink to be accepted. I have been teaching you not to trade peace for access, not to silence your discernment for affection, not to confuse being needed with being loved, not to confuse being included with being assigned. The version of you that once tolerated confusion because you feared absence is not the version I am sending into this meeting. The version of you that once over-explained, overgave, overweighted, and overextended to keep a door open is being healed. You are not entering this next appointment as one desperate to be seen. You are entering as one I have already named, already covered, already called mine. Remember Ruth again. Ruth had to leave Moab before she could stand in the field where Boaz would notice her honor. She could not remain bound to the old land and also step into the prepared field. She could grieve what was behind her, but she could not build her future there. She had to walk away from familiarity, from former identity, from the place that held her sorrow, before she could arrive in the place where provision, protection, and destiny were waiting. Her leaving was not only movement, it was separation. It was consecration. It was the quiet agreement of a heart willing to trust me beyond what it understood. So do not despise the Moab I required you to leave. Do not keep romanticizing the door that could not carry your future. Do not keep calling the closed place your only chance, when I am the one who holds every field, every connection, every conversation, every appointed hour. If I did not allow it to remain, there was wisdom in the closing. If I blocked it after you prayed, there was protection in the answer. If I let it end, even while your heart still cared, there was mercy deeper than the ache you felt in the moment. Beloved, I closed what could not carry you forward so your heart would be free enough to receive the meeting I prepared, free enough to listen without panic, free enough to discern without desperation, free enough to stand without shrinking, free enough to recognize honor because dishonor no longer defines your expectation. I have not been emptying your life to leave you barren. I have been clearing the room of what could not remain in the atmosphere of your next season. Stand still in this truth. What I closed was not stronger than what I am opening. What left was not greater than what I am preparing. And when the meeting comes, you will understand why I refuse to let your heart arrive there bound to what could never bless where I am taking you. Beloved, when they come, do not shrink. When the meeting stands before you, when the message arrives, when the conversation begins, when the door opens in a way you did not expect, do not become small in the presence of what I have allowed. Do not return to the old posture of trying to be chosen, trying to be understood, trying to be impressive, trying to prove that you are worthy of the room, the relationship, the opportunity, or the answer. I did not rebuild you in secret so you would abandon yourself in public. I did not heal your voice so you would silence it the moment someone familiar or important appears. My child, you are not meeting this person as your old wounded self. You are not standing there as the version of you who begged for clarity, chased affection, feared silence, and mistook inconsistency for mystery. You are not the one who believed that love had to be earned by overgiving, over-explaining, overextending, and over-forgiving without truth. I have been rebuilding you from within, layer by layer. I have restored what pain distorted, moment by moment. I have been teaching your spirit to breathe again. I have been washing shame from your identity, fear from your decisions, and desperation from your expectations. Listen carefully. You are not a desperate soul waiting to be validated. You are, my child, called by name, carrying my imprint. As it is written, I have called you by your name, you are mine. This is not a poetic thought. It is your foundation. You do not enter the meeting empty, hoping someone will finally give you worth. You enter carrying the worth I already placed upon you. You do not enter needing the conversation to become what your emotions want it to become. You enter surrendered, steady, awake, and held by me. Do not perform. Do not exaggerate your peace to appear healed. Do not exaggerate your strength to hide tenderness. Do not pretend you are unaffected if your heart needs time to process. Do not chase the conversation beyond the grace I give for it. Do not beg for what must be freely offered. Do not over-explain your boundaries to someone who is only willing to respect them if they can first wear you down. Do not betray the peace I gave you in order to make the meeting work. What is from me will not require you to leave yourself behind to keep it alive. The old self rushed because silence felt like rejection. The old self filled every pause because stillness felt unsafe. The old self confused control with love because chaos had trained the heart to accept possession as passion. The old self believed that if someone withdrew, you had to chase. If someone delayed, you had to panic. If someone was unclear, you had to labor until their confusion became your responsibility. But that season is no longer your teacher. That pattern is no longer your master. That wounded version of you is not being sent into this meeting to repeat what once broke you. The new self listens. The new self breathes. The new self watches fruit. The new self honors peace. The new self can feel emotion without being ruled by it. The new self can be kind without being available for manipulation. The new self can forgive without reopening what I have not confirmed. The new self can receive honor without suspicion and reject pressure without guilt. This is maturity. This is restoration. This is not hardness. It is healed identity standing under my covering. Readiness is not the absence of feeling. Readiness is being whole enough to listen, slow enough to discern, and secure enough to let me confirm or close the matter. If I breathe upon the meeting, you will not have to force it into life. If I am not in it, you will not have to wrestle it into death. Remain anchored. Let the conversation reveal what it carries. Let fruit speak. Let peace testify. Let consistency answer what emotion cannot decide. You are not responsible for manufacturing destiny. You are responsible for remaining aligned with me. From this day forward, I declare over you that you will not abandon your peace to keep a connection I have not confirmed. You will not shrink to fit a place I never assigned. You will not perform for access, beg for honor, or trade discernment for the fear of being alone. You will stand as one I have restored. You will speak with grace and listen with wisdom. You will remain soft without becoming weak, open without becoming careless, hopeful without becoming desperate. And when they come, you will not meet them from the wound. You will meet them from wholeness, because I am not sending you backward into old patterns. I am leading you forward into restored identity. Beloved, when the conversation begins, do not demand that the full assignment reveal itself in the first sentence. Some things I uncover gently. Some meanings rise slowly, not because I am hiding them from you, but because I am teaching you to discern with a steady spirit instead of an anxious interpretation. The purpose of the meeting may not be obvious at the beginning. It may look like a simple exchange, a quiet question, an unexpected apology, an open door, a shared memory, a practical offer, or a moment that seems ordinary to the natural eye. But as the words unfold, I will allow clues to rise. Peace will speak, clarity will speak, conviction will speak, confirmation will speak. The inner witness will begin to tell you whether this meeting carries restoration, release, redirection, closure, or alignment. My child, be slow to speak from old wounds, and quick to listen, for my wisdom beneath the words. Do not answer from the place that was once afraid of being abandoned. Do not interpret every pause through the memory of disappointment. Do not let the old injury become the translator of a new moment. Listen beneath the surface. Listen to the atmosphere. Listen to what is being honored and what is being avoided. Listen to whether truth is present without manipulation. Listen to whether humility stands without performance. Listen to whether peace remains without pressure. For I do not only speak through what is said, I also teach you through what is revealed when you are still enough to notice. When a meeting is aligned with me, it will carry certain marks. There will be truth without twisting. There will be humility without a stage. There will be peace without urgency, trying to force your hand. There will be mutual honor, not one soul shrinking so another can feel powerful. There will be respect for timing, not a demand that you move faster than wisdom allows. There will be a sense of spiritual spaciousness, as though your soul can breathe while the matter unfolds. This does not mean there will be no emotion. This does not mean every word will be easy. But even if the conversation is weighty, my peace can still be present within it. Even if tears rise, dignity will not be erased. Even if truth confronts, control will not be required. But if confusion multiplies, pause. If secrecy enters the room, pause. If control tries to dress itself as concern, pause. If rushing becomes the atmosphere, pause. If emotional bargaining begins, if someone uses your tenderness against you, if your boundaries are treated as obstacles instead of honored lines, if the conversation pulls you back into the person you have outgrown, then do not ignore what your spirit is sensing. Misalignment often reveals itself by the way it handles your peace. What is not sent by me will often become irritated by your discernment. What is counterfeit will often try to control the pace because it cannot survive patient truth. Understand this deeply. I can use one meeting to restore what was broken, but I can also use one meeting to release you from what has been unfinished in your soul. I can use one conversation to confirm a direction, redirect a path, expose a hidden motive, soften a hardened place, or close a chapter forever. Do not decide too quickly what the meeting must mean. Let me direct the interpretation. Let me weigh the fruit. Let me show you whether this is an open door, a final mercy, a divine connection, or a holy ending. As it is written in Proverbs 3:5 and 6, trust in me with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge me, and I will direct your path. This is the posture I am asking of you, not panic, not control, not anxious guessing, not building an entire future out of one sentence. Trust me inside the conversation. Acknowledge me while you listen. Acknowledge me before you respond. Acknowledge me when emotion rises. Acknowledge me when hope awakens. Acknowledge me when caution speaks. The purpose of the meeting will become clear as you listen for peace, fruit, and alignment, rather than reacting from old emotion. I am not leaving you to discern alone. I am with you in the pause, in the answer, in the silence, and in the clarity that follows. Remain steady, my child. The conversation will reveal what it carries, and I will show you the assignment hidden within it. Beloved, after the door opens, do not place your hand upon the outcome as though you must hold it together by your own strength. Do not let the meeting become an altar where you sacrifice your peace in order to secure what only I can sustain. When the conversation ends, when the message has been answered, when the face-to-face moment has passed, when your heart begins to replay every word, pause and return to me. Do not rush into control because something felt meaningful. Do not turn discernment into obsession. Do not let hope become pressure. My child, I know the temptation that comes after a sudden meeting. I know how the mind begins to search for signs in every pause, every delay, every tone, every unanswered message, every small movement of the other person. I know how quickly the heart can begin to ask, what did they mean? What should I say now? Should I reach again? Should I explain more? Should I secure this before it disappears? But listen carefully. If I open the door, I am also able to govern what follows the door. You do not have to text beyond peace. You do not have to rehearse every sentence until your soul becomes tired. You do not have to rush a commitment because you fear the moment will lose its power if you do not control it. This is not your moment to manipulate the timing. It is your moment to remain aligned with the rhythm of heaven. This is not your moment to force a conclusion. It is your moment to stay prayerful, watchful, surrendered, and steady. This is not your moment to turn one conversation into an entire destiny before fruit has had time to speak. It is your moment to let me reveal whether what began in peace can continue in peace. For peace is not only needed at the beginning of a matter, peace must remain in the unfolding. Understand this deeply. A meeting may begin restoration, but restoration still requires truth, humility, and time. A meeting may confirm a partnership, but partnership must be tested by consistency, honor, and shared obedience. A meeting may reveal an opportunity, but opportunity must still carry my wisdom and not merely your excitement. A meeting may provide closure, and if it does, do not keep knocking on a door I allowed to close gently. Let the assignment be what I reveal, not what your emotions prefer. Let the fruit tell the truth. Let time confirm what feeling cannot finish. Do not force what I have opened. When you force a God-opened door, you can turn peace into pressure. You can turn alignment into anxiety. You can turn a holy beginning into a place of striving because fear entered the atmosphere and demanded control. What I send does not need fear to sustain it. What I breathe upon does not need manipulation to keep it alive. What is truly aligned with me can survive patience, prayer, boundaries, and truth. If it cannot survive those things, it was not as rooted as your emotion wanted it to be. So after the meeting, come back into stillness. Bring me the words that were spoken. Bring me the feelings that awakened. Bring me the hope, the caution, the questions, the tenderness, and the uncertainty. Do not process it only with your wound. Do not interpret it only through longing. Do not invite confusion to become your counselor. As it is written, be still and know that I am God. Stillness is not inactivity. Stillness is trust, refusing to be dragged into panic. Stillness is the soul returning to my authority before it makes meaning out of movement. Watch consistency over time. Watch whether honor continues when the emotion of the first meeting fades. Watch whether peace remains when boundaries are present. Watch whether words become fruit. Watch whether the atmosphere expands your obedience or pulls you away from me. Do not build destiny on one emotional moment. I can use one moment to open a door, but I often use time to reveal what is truly standing behind it. Beloved, your responsibility is not to make the meeting become what you want. Your responsibility is to remain aligned with me. Stay discerning, stay soft, stay surrendered. The same God who arranged the meeting can govern the next step. The same hand that brought the conversation can protect the outcome. The same voice that warned you before it came will guide you after it has passed. Do not force the result. Walk with me, and I will show you what remains. Beloved, now receive this, not as information only, but as a seal upon your spirit. Let these words settle deeper than your thoughts, deeper than your emotions, deeper than the place where fear has tried to build its arguments. I am not only teaching you about the meeting that is coming. I am placing readiness upon you. I am placing steadiness within you. I am placing discernment like a guard at the gate of your heart, so that what is sent by me may be recognized in peace, and what is not sent by me may lose its power to confuse you. I declare over you now that confusion is losing authority. The fog that once caused you to misread pressure as purpose, intensity as love, delay as rejection, and familiarity as destiny is being lifted from your inner atmosphere. Old cycles are losing their pull. Old voices are losing their volume. Old attachments are losing the right to govern your expectation. The version of you that once returned to what wounded you because silence felt unbearable is no longer ruling your decisions. The version of you that once chased clarity from people who benefited from your uncertainty is being dismissed from the throne of your heart. This is not the season of repeated confusion. It is the season of holy recognition. My child, I decree that when the meeting comes, your spirit will not panic. Your heart will not run ahead of my peace. Your mind will not build towers out of one sentence. Your wounds will not become your interpreter. I am steadying you before the appointment appears. I am teaching your soul to remain still while your circumstances begin to move. I am training you to know the difference between a door I have opened and a door your fear is trying to pry open. I am giving you the grace to pause, the wisdom to listen, and the courage to obey what peace reveals. I speak now over every relationship connected to your next season. Every counterfeit connection will be exposed. Every hidden motive will be brought into light at the appointed time. Every controlling voice that has tried to dress itself as concern, love, loyalty, or spiritual authority will lose its influence over you. Never again will you call control love. Never again will you call manipulation protection. Never again will you shrink beneath someone's insecurity and mistake it for covenant. What is from me will honor your peace. What is from me will respect your boundaries. What is from me will make room for truth, growth, obedience, and freedom. And I declare that every honorable connection assigned to your life will be recognized by peace and fruit. You will not need to be frantic to receive it. You will not need to perform to keep it. You will not need to betray your healing to make it stay. The people I send will not require you to abandon the work I have done inside you. They will not pull you away from my voice. They will not demand that you silence your convictions so they can feel comfortable in disobedience. They will not punish your discernment. They will not despise your boundaries. They will carry honor, humility, consistency, and fruit that can be tested in the light. I speak now over opportunity. The right door will not require you to betray your calling. The right door will not demand that you silence what I have placed within you. The right door will not make you trade spiritual peace for worldly approval. The door I open may stretch you, but it will not corrupt you. It may require courage, but it will not require compromise. It may call you higher, but it will not pull you away from my presence. If an opportunity asks for your gift while dishonoring your obedience, pause. If a door offers advancement but steals your peace, pause. If a room celebrates your talent but pressures you to abandon your convictions, pause. I will not bless you by asking you to become someone I never called you to be. Beloved, I decree Ruth-like positioning over your life. You will be found in the right field, at the right time, by the right people, under the covering of my wisdom. You will not have to wander anxiously to locate what I have prepared. You will not have to beg to be seen by those assigned to recognize the grace upon you, as Ruth gleaned faithfully in what seemed like an ordinary field. I will place you where provision and purpose meet. I will guide your steps into appointed places. I will arrange what you could not arrange. I will allow the right eyes to notice the right fruit at the right time, and when honor finds you, you will not bow to fear as though dishonor is all you deserve. From this day forward, I declare that your heart is being made ready, ready to receive without clinging, ready to discern without suspicion, ready to hope without desperation, ready to listen without surrendering your peace, ready to walk through an open door without forcing the outcome, ready to release a counterfeit without mourning it as destiny, ready to recognize what carries my breath and reject what only carries familiar noise. Let this decree rest upon you. You will stand steady when the meeting arrives. You will not be ruled by the past. You will not be intimidated by the future. You will not be manipulated by urgency. You will not be seduced by confusion. You will know my voice, for my sheep hear my voice, and another voice they will not follow. I am placing clarity where fear once spoke. I am placing peace where striving once lived. I am placing holy confidence where shame once tried to hide your name. And if your heart receives this, speak it as an act of faith and surrender. Write these words: I am ready for the meeting God prepared for me, not as a demand, not as control, not as a way to force the timing. Write it as agreement with my preparation. Write it as surrender to my wisdom. Write it as a declaration that you will recognize what I send, reject what is counterfeit, and stand steady beneath my covering. Beloved, I am placing a decree of readiness over you now, and when the meeting comes, you will not meet it alone. Now, my child, bring your heart before me. Bring me the part of you that still wonders if you will recognize what I am doing. Bring me the place that becomes afraid when something meaningful approaches. Bring me the old ache, the old memory, the old disappointment, the old question that whispers, what if this becomes like before? Do not hide that place from me. I am not asking you to prepare by pretending you feel nothing. I am asking you to prepare by surrendering everything. So breathe slowly, beloved, and let your soul become still beneath my hand. Say within your heart, Father, I surrender the meeting that is coming. I surrender the person, the timing, the conversation, the meaning, and the outcome. I release the need to control what only you can govern. Quiet every fear that tries to rise before the appointment appears. Remove every trace of desperation that would make me reach beyond peace, speak beyond wisdom, or cling beyond grace. Heal the wounds that taught me to panic when something feels uncertain. Heal the places in me that once confused inconsistency with love, pressure with purpose, and familiarity with destiny. Align my inner atmosphere with your timing. Let my spirit move in the rhythm of heaven, not in the rhythm of anxiety. Beloved, I hear this prayer, and I am answering deeper than words. I am placing my peace where fear once tightened your chest. I am placing my wisdom where confusion once scattered your thoughts. I am placing my stillness where urgency once tried to command you. As it is written, be still and know that I am God. Stillness will become your covering. Stillness will become your guard. Stillness will become the place where you recognize my voice above every other voice. Pray now over the meeting itself. Father, when the meeting comes, let me recognize divine peace. Let me not be blinded by emotion, flattered by attention, moved by pressure, or shaken by surprise. Let me hear your voice clearly. Let me respond with wisdom instead of anxiety. Let my words be guarded by grace and my silence be governed by discernment. If the meeting is for restoration, let truth and humility be present. If it is for closure, give me courage to release what you are ending. If it is for opportunity, let the door carry peace and not compromise. If it is for destiny, let fruit confirm what feeling cannot prove. My child, I will not leave you without witness. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. You will not have to chase clarity from confusion. You will not have to force peace into a place where I have not placed it. You will not have to make a counterfeit become holy by praying harder over what refuses truth. I will teach you to notice the difference. I will show you what carries my breath and what only carries familiar sound. So pray for protection, beloved. Father, protect me from counterfeit returns, from false apologies, from words that sound soft but carry no repentance, from opportunities that rush me before wisdom can speak, from emotional confusion that pulls me back into old patterns, and from every connection that would make me shrink again. Protect me from the version of myself that once accepted less because I was afraid nothing better would come. Protect me from the temptation to call control love, to call chaos passion, to call pressure confirmation, or to call delay rejection. Let every hidden motive be exposed in your light. Let every counterfeit lose its influence over my heart. And now receive Ruth and Boaz discernment. Father, give me honorable timing. Give me protected connection. Give me provision without control, restoration without fear, and destiny without striving. Place me in the right field, under the right covering, among the right people, at the right time. Let what is assigned to me recognize me without manipulation. Let honor come without me begging for it. Let provision arrive without possession. Let covenant, if you ordain it, carry respect, protection, and freedom. Let nothing enter my life that requires me to abandon the healing you have worked within me. Beloved, this is the posture of readiness. Not demanding, not clinging, not bargaining, not rushing ahead of my hand. Readiness is your heart resting in my authority before the door opens, and remaining in my authority after the door closes or continues. The meeting is mine. The timing is mine. The person is mine to confirm or remove. The outcome is mine to govern. Your heart is safe when it is placed fully in my hands. Now give thanks before you see the full picture. Father, thank you that I am not abandoned. Thank you that I am not late. Thank you that I am not forgotten. Thank you that I am not walking into this meeting alone. Thank you for preparing me in secret before anything appeared in public. Thank you for closing doors that could not carry me forward. Thank you for healing my identity, guarding my peace, and teaching me to discern your voice. I trust you with what is coming. I trust you with who is coming. I trust you with what stays, what leaves, what heals, what ends, and what begins. And I declare over you, my child, that you will walk into what comes with surrendered confidence. You will not be ruled by fear. You will not be driven by desperation. You will not be pulled back into the patterns I delivered you from. You are mine. You are covered. You are guided. You are being prepared for what carries my peace, and you are being protected from what only carries noise. If this prayer is in your heart, leave your prayer request in the comments and let it become an act of surrender before me. Share this message with someone who is waiting for divine direction. Like this video as agreement with the preparation I am doing within you, and subscribe so you do not miss the next messages of discernment, restoration, and heavenly timing. Beloved, be at peace. I am with you in the meeting, before the meeting, and after the meeting. The outcome is in my hands.